It's Seiji with Majali, and my guest today is founder and CEO of two businesses, Think Property Legacy and Speak You Laundry. Mr. Sammy Mongwai, welcome to Seiji, and thank you for choosing to share as you grow.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me today.
It's such an honor to actually sit with you today because we've heard you speak a lot on radio about property and property investment, and having you to come to the show and to actually share your story, share your business journey with us is such an honor and a privilege. So please just tell us more about who you are, how the journey started, and how you realized your passion for entrepreneurship.
Okay. I grew up in Limpopo. I'm from Limpopo, and I grew up in Limpopo. And I went to study in UKZN and came back to Johannesburg and had a career in banking industry. Okay. And after a while, then I decided to go my own way, be the boss. I didn't like my bosses. Kidding, but I had a good bosses and that's when the shift happened, is that I've realized that there is more that I can do, as opposed to being being chained to what you can and cannot do and what you can and cannot achieve. But I wanted more out of life. I wanted more. I could see that there is more to actually that I could actually get out and give purposefully to other people. So that's what encouraged me to go into business.
Wow, so you wanted the freedom to do more and go beyond the limits that are set for you by corporate. Yes. I would assume that you're such a dreamer and you're such a free spirit. When you were young, you tried to explore other things like climbing up a windmill. Yeah. How did that story end?
Yeah. Well, it's quite a story. It's quite a story. So when I was young, I went with my cousin. We were boys. We were going out, and we got to a windmill back at home. So if you notice, the windmill has step ladders. So I climbed onto the step ladders. So while I was up there, my cousin wanted to reprimand me, so he took a whipped me from the windmill. So he whipped me from the windmill, and I let go of the stairs, and I fell. And when I fell, I crashed onto the big rock.
Sure.
Yeah. So when I crashed on, so I didn't crash my body, but my head. Yeah. So look, I remember my flesh was out. My uncle had to pull it back and put a hoodie on me, so that he can be able to take me to hospital. Sure. And after that, I think about 15 years or so, I always had this screechy. I always have this itchy feeling on my head that I needed to bang my head against the wall or scratch it. And I think maybe that's why I'm so smart right now.
So maybe something happened there. And,
maybe there will be a change there. But look, even then, in school, I was an A student in school, in my high school, from primary to the high school. So look, that was a miracle for me. When I look at my life, I look back and I thank God that I've survived that, and I can definitely say and be 100% sure that I have a purpose, and God brought me here for a purpose, and I have to fulfill that purpose while I'm living, than having to waste my life over things that don't really matter.
Yeah, so you would say that the space that you're in is where you feel you're fulfilling more your purpose than just doing a business because it brings you revenue.
Yes, look, money, it's important, It is important, but it's not everything.
Yes.
So when you're fully living, you have to be in a space whereby whatever you give out, it's life unto other people, and the energy that you bring in is positive, encourages somebody else to do something that they ought to do. So you're basically not imposing things on people, but you're setting them free to be who they are. So that is the greatest purpose that we have in this life, that whatever we're doing, it's not necessarily about ourselves, but it's about changing the life of the other person, touching the life of the other person. So with that being said, in the property business, I moved also from just doing profits for myself, but to a point where I'm saying, you know what, I need to help others. There are other people that want to be in the space that I'm in and they don't have the know-how to. Yes. How about helping those people, you know? So extending your hand, because somebody extended their hand to me to be where I am today, you know. I didn't just it's not all an accident, you know. It takes a lot of hard work, but mentorship is very important. It takes mentorship, you know. So in the nutshell, my point is that we all have a duty to touch the other person's life and change it for the good.
Yes. And talking a bit about your property, I just want you to take us through how that journey started. We had a chat earlier on, and you were trying to explain to me the difference between a property agent and a property investor. So I believe you're an investor. So what's the difference between that? And just give us an understanding of what it is that you do when it comes to the property industry.
Okay. So an agent would be somebody that is registered with a property company, which is an agency, and it's also under the affairs board, you know, property affairs board. So that person is an employee on the company, right? But as an investor, is an independent individual who buys the property by themselves. Not others obviously have businesses; they can use their own businesses. But so the main point, the main differentiator there is that you have somebody that is employed and you have somebody that is independent. So those are the main difference between the agent and investor. So what I do, I'm an investor. So I buy properties, I buy and renovate if they need be, and resell the property. You know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, basically buy and sell.
Do it for the capital gains.
For capital gains, but you cannot stay in the capital gain forever. So there are other good properties. So it will depend. Because remember that when you're buying a property, this is for investors. You know, the investors know that when you're buying the property, and you want to see how profitable the property is, you're not definitely just gonna go with your emotions.
Yeah,
you
true.
know, there's a lot of things to check around, and what determines the decision whether to sell or keep will be based on the conditions of the property, the location. There's a whole range of factors that you need to check first, you know, before you can decide whether do I keep this property for rental purposes or do I sell it. So for all investors, there's always that we always need to consider all those facts, because it's our pocket at the end of the day.
And for you're saying that an investor gets money from their own pockets. They don't necessarily use financial institutions to fund the properties they buy. So how did you buy your first property? How did you fund that without the assistance of a financial institution?
Oh, it's an interesting story. So look, my first property was actually half of it was personal, and half of it was financial institution. So I went to the financial institution and said, I like this property, I want to buy this property. And they tell me, no, you do not qualify, this and that, you don't have a lot of credit. You know the story that always, that makes South Africans like a bit, you know, like proof of residence. You know.
Proof of residence.
You know, like you don't have proof of residence, we can't give you this. You don't have enough credit, we can't give you that.
Yeah, true.
So, which is a very important aspect on credit also. There's that important aspect for financial education. People need to be financially educated to know the difference and how you could build a credit profile and keep it and make it work for your benefit
later,
you know, later on. So those are the certain things that I learned in property, you know. So my first property, going back to my first property, it was I had money saved up. You know? So the bank told me we can only give you this much. I had my own money saved up, and I wanted to know, you know, when you want something, you need to do all there is to do to get that thing. So that's the kind of mentality I have. Then I found out that there's also government, they can give money for your first property. At that time it was below 350,000. So that if you earn a certain amount of money and you're buying a property below this benchmark, we can subsidize you. So 37%. So they brought
So
in,
you also got government subsidy for the property?
37%. Yeah. So at the time it was 37%.
Wow.
And not really 37, 33%. So they brought in that, and I brought in my own money, and the bank comes in to subsidize me. So I was really living nice on my repayment. But I actually, while I was working, what happened was that I was paying almost a double of my repayment. So there was the time when I went into business and I had some difficulties financially. All that money that I was paying in could cover me.
Well, you can make withdrawals from your account.
Make withdrawals from the account. So that's when really property became very interesting to me, because now this is reality we're talking about.
Yes.
You're playing Monopoly in real life. It's like this is nice. So that's how my first deal went.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting story though, because people don't know about government subsidies and how they could actually benefit from those.
Yes, and at the moment they actually have it. They increased it to people that earn up to 22,000. So if you're earning up to 22,000 on your gross. And I don't remember the actual benchmark. They changed it. I don't remember how much it is at the moment in terms of the property purchase. So, but there's a certain purchase price that you have, and also if you earn a certain salary, they are able to. And information is there. Information is there. I think our people. It's about time. We have. Liberty of the internet,
True.
There's everything, but things that matter to us, we seem not to take that much interest into them. But we know the gossip of the celebs, who's doing what about your own life, what about your own life, what about your own property. So the information is there really, and government, as much as there is a lot of bad things that happen along the way where our government is concerned, but also that is a very great opportunity that they're giving out to people.
And which people can actually leverage from.
Yes, I benefited from that. So can anybody.
True.
And I don't remember taking out any money to any person saying that I need the subsidy. So here's a cold drink. I didn't pay for cold drink for it. Just clear. So the information is there. It's not, nobody's prohibited from it. And at that time, when I bought my first property, I barely knew anything about property. I was not even in the business of property, right? So
and now you know so much about property.
Yes.
What's the advice that you can advise someone who's buying their first property? What's the most important thing, especially someone who says, "Hey, Sammy, I like the space of being a property investor." What's the one advice you're going to give them?
Yeah, come to me, or anybody else. But best advice is get a coach, right? Getting a coaching it's very great. Can save you a lot of money. So I have a real life example. I have a friend with his wife. They were buying property in Pretoria.
Yes.
Yeah. So they the property. So they came to me. They didn't know what to do, but they came to me after running into some little bit of trouble, and we worked it out and took them out of the trouble. And instead of getting 13% on the property in loan repayment, we worked it out. When negotiate with the bank, they got 10.5%.
Wow!
Right, and then on the purchase price, they save about 112, like that's actual money, 112K. That's what getting a coach can do for you. So there are, apart from me, but there are other businesses also, that are providing that kind of information, that kind of teaching to first-time buyers, So before you get into something, get an understanding of what's happening. More especially if you want to be an investor, it's very important to get a coach. You can't do it by yourself, So getting a coach, this is how I always say when getting a coach looks like. You going into something that you never did in your life.
Yeah.
And you go into a car you never drove in your life, and nobody ever told you how to drive. You have no experience whatsoever, and you're going in and say you're gonna be racing. Because
obviously you're not going to get far.
Yes, because getting into business is that. Hey.
True.
Getting into business is as real as it gets so real. You know, you go in, you're competing with giants. But you never been there before. How about getting somebody that has been there before, show you how to get where they are? Because along the way they have definitely made a lot of mistakes, and they can save you from those mistakes.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like the way I'm saying with my friends, it's the same thing. He could have paid 112k extra on his bond,
13%.
Plus 13%. Who else? Whatever, you know, it's a lot of money that is involved. What was he gonna live on? Should he have continued with the deal? You know, because we're looking at how is he gonna make a living after buying this property? Because it doesn't really make sense when you want one thing and in sacrifice of your livelihood.
Yes, that's true. And that's what most of us do when we are buying property, because we say we want to have a house and we end up getting deals that are not necessarily the best deals for us. So it's very important, as we hear Sammy saying, do your research, find someone who knows and understands the industry, do the research before you even buy your property, ask and make sure that you get proper coaching and guidance. And while talking about coaching and guidance, you know, it's so easy to get advice from everyone.
Yes.
What would you say when someone is looking for a coach? What are the key things to look for?
Yeah. I think I covered it a bit, but I will just make it simplified.
Yes.
Whatever you wanna do, get somebody that does good in what you want to do. The person that is the best, go to them and ask them to show you the road. And if it requires that they say that you need to remunerate them, pay them for that, because they're sharing knowledge.
Acquired over years.
Exactly. So, and it's always, I think for me, it's always best to pay because you get best results.
Yeah, true.
We know that free things, we know it's not the same. When you're getting a free thing, it's not the same as you getting something that you paid for. So
value for money.
Yes. So that is my advice. So a lot of times you meet clients, you meet different people in life. People have knowledge. People have been misinformed about certain things.
Yeah.
Because your uncle has 2 properties, that is only,
you know them.
and they can tell you the whole day about them, but they still in the kind of like similar situation. Now they're telling you about investing in property, but their experience only mount up to 2 properties.
True.
So
it's limited experience.
It's limited experience. They're not active in the market.
Yeah.
Now, when you're getting somebody that is active in the market, they're moving with what's happening right now. Climate, the economical changes happen every now and then. Conditions, property laws, everything changes every now and then. So you need somebody, even locations changes, An event happens in an area, there's a break-in in the area, then all of a sudden other people who don't want to endanger their life move out of the area. Then the area start to lose value, or certain types of individuals come into the area, they do whatever they do, area loses value. So it's not the same
as well now.
Exactly. It's not the same, the area is not the same as when your uncle bought the property 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. So we're learning a lot about getting advice from the right people, and the most important thing is make sure the people you're getting advice from are people who are active in the market. People who have experience in the market and who are currently active. And also importantly, I can have experience in Eastern Cape market.
Yes.
But not necessarily understand the Joburg market. So make sure that the people that are giving you advice are people in the same location or niche that you are actually focusing on.
Definitely.
Sammy, how do you balance these 2 businesses? Because you seem so passionate about investing now and property. I would assume you're also having the same passion about the laundry business.
Yeah.
How do you balance the 2?
Oh man, it's a this is what helped me in terms of balancing. I slept. I remember slacking a bit in admin and how to balance the two businesses. So I went and got a coach that can help me with the admin and balancing the two businesses. And it's so amazing when you get somebody that is so skilled. That they didn't just help me on balancing the businesses, but they help me on balancing the life, my life as well. I know, okay, I have certain hours in the day. From this hour to this hour, I focus on this business. From this hour to that hour, I focus on that business. So and again, for me, it's always about, as a business owner, it's always about transformational. I do not focus on the transactional side, but I focus on the transformational side of things.
Sure, wow, so, that's powerful.
Yeah, so now in terms of, I do pickups and delivery for my laundry business. So in terms of that, so I get the car, get the guys to go and do the runs, get somebody, employ somebody to do the work. Yeah. Right. So same thing with property. So with the admin, get somebody else to do the admin, get somebody else to do the management, get somebody else to do this and that. So where you're not skilled at, when you want to grow as quick as you can, where you're not skilled at, get somebody that is skilled to do that.
So you can't do it on your own. I think the most important message that comes across here is that you can't do it on your own.
Yes.
You need to make sure that there are people you trust, yes, and you actually delegate some of the responsibilities, especially administrative responsibilities, to people.
Yeah, but also now let me speak also because I don't want to sound like what about a person who's a startup who do not have the finances to pay somebody?
Yes, because that's what we all find ourselves stuck with.
Yes.
I understand the model, for example. Yes. The model is, I can't do it on my own. I need skilled people, whether they're doing my branding, whether they're doing my PR, whether they're doing my HR, but I have to pay them.
Yes.
So I'm starting up. I'm trying to not make the mistakes that a lot of entrepreneurs that came before have made.
Yes.
How do I balance that?
So like I just said, mid example of getting somebody. I had somebody to teach me on how to balance my life, and an important fact. I think this works for us, for us young adults. We were in business. We always on our Facebooks and WeChats and WhatsApp. We are all over social media.
That's
so that too need to be managed. The person helped me to manage that. Like, okay, when on your working days, you can check your WhatsApp from this time to that time. You become disciplined. Because otherwise, with us men, unlike women, we not skilled with multitasking. Some may be, but for me, I'm not skilled with multitasking, and I won't even try because it would be a mess. Right. So now you need to focus and finish whatever you're doing. And if what you're doing doesn't really work, focus on other things, other list of things that you need to get done with. Then you'll go back to that. That's what happens. So you are also. So I would definitely say, do not waste time when you're dealing with business and you have two businesses, or even when you have one business and you're dealing with a couple of things. Don't waste time on one thing. If you don't have a solution, move on to other things. Achieving them will give you confidence to actually go back and find a solution for that. So for a startup, you definitely need to learn a lot of things. You'll be your HR, you'll be your PR, you'll be your everything. True. So important factor when you are a startup, you need to go out, network. Learn skills from different people. Each and every person has a particular pack of skills. You can always take something from them. You can always learn this and that from them. And you will be amazed at even how many businesses came out of certain skill.
True. And when you were a startup twice, basically, if you think about it. You were a startup when you did your laundry business, and you also startup when you did your property business. I'm sure you made double the mistakes that people probably make when they are business owners. What are some of the mistakes that you have learned in your journey that you say, these mistakes I had to make for me to learn certain things, but I'm going to share with you so that you don't make the same mistakes and have a much smoother journey in your entrepreneurship life.
I think not having a business motto, you know, on the street there's a word hustler. You go out, you be a hustler, you hustle, but you always need a proper foundation, and I think there's a bit more in terms, depending on the type of a business that you have. You always need to get your compliance sorted.
Sure. Yeah.
If you don't have your compliance sorted, you cannot grow. You may have the skill, you may know the hustle and know how to hustle, but if you do not have your compliance, you won't be able to sign that big deal that will need all those type of documents that they need, and when you having your compliance sorted, I've seen this with other business owners, they take too much time on that, like person registers. I know with, sorry to use this example, but I think it will shed some light to other people, like in construction. I know, obviously property, I get to know more about construction and stuff. So I know guys in construction will be waiting for getting a tender from government. There's no work that you have done, there's no experience that you really have, but you hoping that so and so can lend you a tender. But you never done the work, and you're busy with your compliance so that you can be able to get the tender. But what I've seen is that some people get
consumed by the
compliance as if like after the compliance then I'll be able to sign deals, right? So deals comes along, you get your compliance, if it doesn't work you continue on it, but at the same time sell. There is no business that survives without sales.
Exactly.
Know how to sell. Either you're a construction worker, either you're an accountant, either you're a lawyer, whatever business that you're in, you need to know how to sell. You need to sell at all times, right? So the mistakes that's one of the mistakes that I saw that with myself, like when I started out, I wanted to my business to look fancy and all that, websites and all that. They're good things, but at the end of the day, they're not selling. At the end of the day, you need the actual sale. You need the actual money.
True.
You don't need a fantasized idea that once I have this certificate, a website, well, you can have a cool website and nobody signs up on it, right?
Yes, that's true. No one even knows about it sometimes.
Exactly. Yes. Sometimes nobody even knows about it. Even sometimes when they know about it, what's goodness in a website if you can go to a website and you're able to make a sale?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, these tools, we need to understand, like, these tools help us to get clients. These tools, we use them as leads. So if somebody visits my website or my Facebook page, it's not a sale yet, but that information, I can take it to my advantage and convert that lead into a sale. At the end of the day, I need to convince somebody of the
convince them you're worth the money.
Of the service that I provide. So that's the important fact. I think when you are starting up your business, you need to have that right. You need to sell.
And for you decided to take your selling model to digital model.
Yes.
In terms of your laundry business. So you decided you're not going to do the old-fashioned laundry business. You're going to do a digital laundry business.
Yes.
How did that boost your sales? And how does that work? Basically, I've never had a digital laundry company.
You do laundry.
Do they wash your clothes online?
They wash your clothes on the website. You go to the website and you get your basket there.
What is it? Because you can shop online. I did not know you can wash your clothes online as well. So
look, we in a new era. We in a new era. So everything is done digitally. If you don't convert into where the world is going, chances are that your chances of surviving the business are very limited.
Very slim,
unless you have a very special gift of keeping sales. Because because you looking at right now, we're looking at the people that are in their 40s, 30s, 20s, they're always on their, even people that are older than that, they're always on their mobiles,
Their phones, yes.
their phones. There's you Uber, you transport this Uber, you transport on your phone, you order food on your phone.
Uber
Why
Eats.
can't you wash your clothes on the phone?
So how does it work? Do I just get onto, do you guys have an app? Do I
Yes.
get onto an app? And
Yes. Yeah, so, but at the moment we're using the website. So you go to the website, you make your order by the website, give your details, and the admin gets in touch with you, and they pick up your laundry, and then after they work out hours. So usually I know, because it's my business, I'm in the business, I know that for the young adults, most of the time, even we do pickups at very odd hours, because somebody may be going to work, they give an odd hour in the morning, so that's the
so
advantage.
you find you have to come pick up your laundry at 5 a.m.
Yeah, 5 a.m. if it works for them, 5 a.m. and then they coming back from work. We know there's traffic in South Africa all over. Come back from work around 7, 6, sometimes even latest 8.
So your company does not have the traditional working hours of 8 to 5. I need to drop my clothes off between 8 and 5, and I need to pick them up between 8 and 5.
Which can be a hassle for you when you don't have...
when you're working class.
Yeah, when you're working class. Which is, I once saw this very funny memes that say that the reason why I'm not yet married is because the Home Affairs closes at 3 and I knock off at 5. So in this case...
Convenience.
So in this case, we are avoiding that. We are avoiding that. So the whole idea was that, like, remember when I started the business, I wanted to challenge the status quo. It's an all-efficient business. So how about, I know young adults, I'm a young adult. I don't like doing laundry.
Yeah, true.
It's gonna take my time and it's gonna waste my time. No, honestly, it's gonna waste my time because I have things to do. How about I go and pay for the service and do those things that will be very important in my future? Because doing laundry myself won't add any benefit to my future. Will just actually take time from it, which I can never recover. But if I have an option of paying somebody or a company that does that for me and gets it back at the time that I want it myself, then I have my whole life sorted.
Exactly. So you cut out all the administration around your life so that you can focus on things that are quite important in actually growing and building your business. Yes.
So also just one more point, another aspect to studying the business, as focus on the working class. It's focus on the working class, and I'm thinking, shucks, man. There are people who want to achieve more in life. There are people who are studying. They have assignments to submit. They have projects to do. Yes. Other people have worked so hard. They want to go to a pool party. They want to relax. There's so much that can be done in life, and having to do laundry, and maybe say if you're staying in a not so good area, then you have to monitor it.
Because now you're worried about theft in the area.
Theft in the area and all those kind of stuff. How about create a business that helps those kind of people? They are able to continue with their life. Even our slogan is like, save time, enjoy life. Enjoy life in the sense that you go and do whatever you want to do. Either you want to achieve more of your goals, and you do that. And also what we have on our promotion side of things is that when we get very intimate with our clients, getting to know our clients, but because they are working class, those that get promotions. I remember there's one couple that got married, and we offered them a free voucher.
Oh wow! To wash their first clothes as a family.
Yeah, as a family, they've been supporting us through when they were still dating. Now we just celebrating the achievement that they actually got married. So those kind of things, like even even somebody that graduates, we do gowns for that.
Wash their gowns.
Yes, we do all that. So if somebody that graduates, we reward them. You have worked so much. You're working along with our slogan. You saved your time.
And you enjoyed your life. And
Yes.
you see the rewards. So it's quite interesting that you have covered so many things. Your aim for starting the business was really the working class, but you've broadened your scope.
Yes.
And with broadening your scope, does that now come with a lot of requirements in terms of machinery and capital investment? And how do you make sure that there's always enough to invest in capital, to invest in machinery so that you can expand and grow?
Yeah. So as a property investor, so what I do is I look at the property that I can own in an area if I want to open business in an area.
Okay.
So I look at that, So since my business is it's digital, so I look into getting a property that I can be able to expand and put lots of machine in it, so that when orders come, I always have enough capacity.
So how do you normally advise people who come to you to say, Sammy, I want to be a property investor. I don't want to sell property. I want to invest in property. What is the advice, especially for someone who's got no capital to buy their first property,
Yes.
but who has a passion and an interest to actually be in the industry that you're in?
Yes. I would say get a coach. That's the best advice I could give you. Because you go into the market that you do not know. This is not to scare you, but it's very important to get a coach and avoid mistakes. But some of them are just silly mistakes that you could avoid, but without knowledge you wouldn't know which mistakes to avoid. So getting a coach is the best advice I could give you.
Thank you very much, Sammy, for giving us advice on property and how to enter the property space if you're interested, and also for giving us advice on how one can successfully run a laundry business. So we are moving to our favorite session of the interview. It's book review time with Sammy. So Sammy is going to take us through 2 of the books that he is currently busy with, or 2 of the books that he feels have shaped his life and shaped his career as an entrepreneur. These books are books that he says, if you're an entrepreneur who want to enter into the property space or you want to be in laundry, these are the books that you should read. Or if you're just generally an entrepreneur, these books are worth reading. Sammy, take us through.
Okay. First book, I would start with this. Is very general, inspired, right? So
it looks very used.
yeah, it looks very. My books are very used because I read them. What's the purpose of buying if you cannot read? Yeah. So this says, the title says remarkable South Africans share their stories. So biography is basically mini biographies, So I like biographies, I want to know what made that person to think this way and what made the person to actually choose a certain path and grow and prosper in that path. It has, as you can see, it has a couple of names for people that have done well in South Africa.
What are the few names that we can find inside the book? I see there is Tulima Donzela. Okay, yes. Wow. There is, let me see who's my favorite. Who is
there's Cabello also. Okay.
There's a lot of industry players in the book that you can actually read their stories.
Yeah, so even Michael Jordan, the guy that turned F&B around, F&B has been doing so well since him. So my point is that in this book is that you get to learn a lot about people, and that that gives an inspiration and encouragement that they are also human. They grew up in the same conditions that you grew up in, somehow some of them grew up in the worst conditions ever, but they were able to rise above that and become who they wanted to be in their lives, So for me, from this book, I could say for me, what I learned in business is that it requires you
mentally. It requires a very good mental capacity and fitness, you know, to stay in business. It's not necessarily more about the models, but the models that you find in business, but more about what happens and what goes on in your mind. You know, so it's a very good book if you want some inspiration to learn from different people and learn from different lives, and which is basically when one thing that is very encouraging about the book is that it's more like I could look at more like a Bible, how it's modeled out. Also, you know, you have different people, and it shows you how different people live their lives, and you draw in inspiration from that. Yeah, because these are people who are not made up to be where they are, but they had struggles. They had
a story behind,
you know.
And what I like about it is that it's South African people.
Yes.
It's people that we can relate to.
Yes.
And it's people that we read about in the news, we see on TV, or we somehow, if we are lucky, get to interact with in different platforms. It's quite inspirational. And sure, that was powerful, Sammy. Thank you so much for sharing with us such wisdom and where you draw your wisdom from, you know, the books that have shaped and inspired you. And thank you for coming through, choosing to share as you grow in your journey. It's Seiji with Majali, a platform where we share the business stories of entrepreneurs who have lived past their first 1,000 days in business. And we try to unpack and understand the challenges that they've been through, how they've overcome those challenges, the mistakes they've made, so that up-and-coming entrepreneurs can learn from those mistakes and have a better success rate in the near future. Thank you for watching.